Good afternoon, everybody. And today I'm joined by three angels. These girls are SNAs, and I have been very excited to get these on because I know that these girls are on a mission. Aside from the work that they do, they're on a mission to help teachers and parents alike with their combined 20 years experience. And so I'm going to get straight into it. Yeah, family support, teachers, and of course the children themselves. Um, Tell us what does an SNA actually do for somebody who's listening now or watching that doesn't actually?
I suppose in this age, well, it's probably changed quite a lot over the years. I'm Antoinette and I'm one of the members of our business. Our service called In Their World SAS. And we're three SNAs. We're still working as SNAs. We are myself and Sinead over 20 years and Susan like over 10 years, 12 to 13 years. So the SNA role primarily when we started back 20 years ago, it would have been like to support the teacher, like keeping the classroom tidy, you know what I mean, setting up like lessons for the teacher, more or less supporting the teacher, like, and then it would have been like personal care, like bringing the students to the toilet, looking after their personal care. But over the years, I suppose, depending on what setting you're working in, we've all worked in special educational setting, that role has changed hugely, really, where you've almost become a behavioural analyst, I'd say, like within a role who's not qualified, you know, so you are working with children that have so many needs that are being unmet, and usually in very, very large classrooms as well.
Yeah.
So the beauty of, I suppose, being in special schools that you've got small classroom settings, maybe a maximum 6 of them. Whereas like in a mainstream school where you might have 1 or 2 children who needs are not being met, you might have 20, 25 children in that classroom. That's actually very, very overwhelming for the young people who are in that class who needs aren't being met.
Absolutely.
So the role of the SNA has changed hugely.
Yeah, I would say, like, from my start, when I started, I went back to college in my time. I worked in the boots, and my kid was 6 weeks old. He'd be 20 in June.
Yeah.
And I decided I was going to college in the night time to get a break. Come on, here. And I did a child.
You ran into this. You were running away.
And I went to Class Ida down in Finglas, and at the end of the course, they offered a 6-week special education, special needs assistant, I suppose. It was only 6 weeks at the time. And that was my first introduction to autism. Right. So I didn't even know what autism was. I had never met anybody that had autism. I never. And my older son had started in school, and I had met, you meet the mummies at the school or whatever. And I met this girl, and she said to me, she was gone working in this school. The school was only opening in 2008, special school. And I said to her, do you think your principal would give me a week's work experience? I have to do a week's work experience. So I had done maybe 60 hours in St. Canice's Girls' School, where I didn't get a huge amount, as Antoinette said, I toilet needs, and you were helping kids with lunches and going around classrooms and just basically doing whatever the teacher needed you to do, photocopying and stuff. And I walked in the door of that school, which was Foxfield Special National School, and by 3 o'clock that day, I said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And here I am sitting here 20 years later.
Wow.
There. And that's where I met Antoinette, that school. So I only really saw the other side to a mainstream SNA very recently.
Yeah.
So I went from working in that special school for 11 years, where I learned obviously a huge amount of skills, to working in respite. I worked for St. Michael's House for 20 years. I worked in respite, I worked in adult day service, all within their autism services. And to finish my social care degree, I went back working in the mainstream school. And that's what took me back.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked into a classroom where the teacher didn't know my background, even though I had been hired as an SNA. She was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're here!"
Yeah.
Like, and so they were starting the classroom. But I was very distressed, by the lack of insight that mainstream school has. Now, subsequently, it's quite a large number of mainstream schools. It's not just the one, you know. And they would say themselves that they're not given anything.
Yeah.
They're not given any course. They do a few online courses. There's no training within their teacher training specifically.
As in like
for
teachers
this.
starting off.
Yeah. teachers do their degree, they don't really go into special education in a big way to it. So even understanding the concept of that children don't need to sit to learn or take in. They may need to pace in a classroom, but in order to take in the information. It's not that they're not listening to you. They just need to do that. And I mean, as the three of us are, that was where our business came from, or our service came from. That we figured that there is something, and we have always worked in the home. So we've the three of us together have always worked in people's homes. As in outside of our services. Outside of our jobs. We have always done home support.
And how did that happen? Like, was that something that you just fell into as well, the home support? Like, the parents we asked?
No, a psychologist contacted me with regard to a parent who had asked.
Right.
That's how I got into it.
Good.
Personally.
And then I met. So I didn't start as an SNA, like the girls did in special education. I was carer. I happened to be working for agency. And I got a shift in St. Michael's House. And I just happened to land into St. Michael's House. But again, similar to Sinead, after a couple of weeks, I actually felt I belong here and I could do this. And then they offered me, after I think I was covering the sick line or something for about 8 weeks.
I had said to her, "You need to apply for a job. When you meet somebody and you know." I said, "This is for you." Like,
and that's then they offered me the job, and I took the job, and I was inside Michael's House dance for a number of years, and then like that, I stepped out into mainstream school, and I was shocked. As much as Sinead. Like, it's frightening, and it's frightening for the staff. It's frightening for the kids you're supporting.
Absolutely.
It's frightening for teachers, parents, and nobody understands the word. But that is what is frightening for everybody. Well, that's why we came together, because we like to empower families, children.
Teachers need that too. Like, I mean, when we were kids, like, that autism wasn't never heard the words. I had to add it.
Well, it was only recognised in Ireland as a disorder since, or whatever way the language is valid now, in 1986. Exactly. So,
but even at that, I don't think, I mean, 1986 to now, that's 40 years, and teachers should be training for 40 years. Like, that man time.
Like, I work alongside teachers who have been sent off to do like autism courses, but in DCU. And both teachers could say to me, "There's nothing that you do we learn on that course."
I don't have to teach that.
You can't teach.
but not even that. Like, the experience, and I would say it comes back to training SNAs. So, like, the students that I have met would say, "They don't see what you were showing us there. They don't show us any of that on our course."
No.
Like, how? I can't. That blows my mind, Laura.
Yeah.
That they're not showing what visuals are, how to build a schedule.
And taught the translation.
Yeah. Well, transition would be a huge thing. Like, processing all of this. That's, come on, you're right. Come on. You know, like, that's so wrong. On every level. And if you've said it 4 times and the person still hasn't moved, are you not copping yourself? That there's something going on there that's not happening. They need something else.
You know? We knew it about years ago, and I remember his nanny coming into me in the barber's, and she was concerned because he was starting school in September, but he wouldn't wear shoes. And I said to her, "Look, it's just the way I would do it is go over and explain to them he won't wear shoes. So if they want him to get to school, he may turn up without shoes, and will that be okay?" That's what. And he probably, maybe 10 days. But once he saw everybody else wearing his shoes, and if you do from someone else, he wants them down, and he got down, and that was the end of it, you know.
Shoes.
It's definitely, I think, like routine and all that really does play you.
Giving them experience.
Like, just because someone is autistic doesn't mean they don't
Understand
life experiences or learn from their life experiences, that, like we all did. You know what I mean? Like, To diagnose, well, it's my understanding now that they don't diagnose an intellectual disability at 3, but they used to, right?
Mhm.
It was horrifying to me that some of the children that I worked with over the years got a diagnosis, and it could have been like autism and a severe to profound learning disability, right? At 3.
Yeah.
And still had that at 18. So, like, it's never revisited.
Yeah.
Like, that's horrendous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, people learn through their lives, children learn through natural consequences. You climb up something, you fall down, you hurt yourself, you don't do it again.
Yeah.
You don't have to be autistic or not autistic
Yeah.
to understand that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Natural consequences come to everybody
Yeah.
in their life.
Yeah.
Similarly for staff that work in schools, if something is occurring constantly for you, or you're finding yourself in the same scenario, you need to change the scenario.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, the definition of madness is still the same thing over and over again, but it's in a different outcome. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, and you can't be blaming the little person on that.
No,
Because
no,
they're looking
no.
to you for the leads in it, the guides. Do you know what I mean?
So it has massively changed over the years than the way it was.
And you would see that because you've been an SNA for
Yeah. Like in the sentence that what we worked in myself and Sinead, and we learned an awful lot on the ground. And I think that's the beauty of our service, because we are 3 SNAs. We've worked on the ground for the last 20 years. We're still working. We could all be teachers, psychologists, whatever. We chose the profession that we're in.
Yeah.
We chose to stay as SNA.
Yeah.
You know, Sinead? So we have worked with so many amazing people over the years on a multidisciplinary team. We've worked with so many people, and we've learned huge skills and strategies. And I think for us, that's probably our biggest USP going forward. We walk on the ground. We know what's going on every day, in and out with that young person, that family, their parents, you know. So I think that's one of the beauties of our service of In Their World SAS, you know, and where we're coming from as well. We want to go into the home. We want to help the parents. We want to help the siblings. We want to help that young person. We want to advocate for that family as well. You know, we want to be that voice for them.
Families need that right now.
We really, really do. And we are just ordinary Joe So people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just want to help people. We have an amazing skill set. We've got a huge amount of knowledge, and we just want to be out there to help people.
I actually feel like that's huge, because I know for a lot of parents, especially young parents as well, I think we can get to our age where we don't really give a shit anymore. But for young parents, they would be like, oh, I'm doing this wrong, or oh, I don't want to be, or feeling good, or thinking I'm doing it wrong at this time. But because you 3 are so down to earth and they're mammies, you know, no,
we are mammies.
Yeah.
We all learned as well, like when you were young and the baby nurses coming.
Hide everything, clean up, clean the bathroom, right now or something.
You not being inferior.
Yeah.
That's what it brought with it.
Absolutely.
Being inferior. And it does, you know what I mean? Like, if there is that generational attachment to it as well. You know, like if your mum was like that, your parents like that, your grandparents were like that, you know what I mean? You tell nobody your business, just get on with it. You try to get on with it yourself, you know. But nowadays, we just feel that, I suppose parents, they have the skills and they're very afraid to open up.
Yeah.
And especially around actions of concern as well. If your child has like huge concerns like self-interest behaviour, self-interest to other people, who have actions of concern that really inhibit their day-to-day life as well. And they don't want to be admitting this to parents. They don't, because they feel that they're like letting down their child. Yeah. But this is where we come in. We go into your home. We observe, you know what I mean? See what's going on in the home, you know. We'll have a chat with the parent and the young person. Three of us will put our heads together. Yeah. We'll put a plan together, we will, and a system that will work as well. We go back to the family stand as well. We'll model that plan as well for the parents. So we're not just planning them
to the school on their behalf. And
well, we could do, I suppose. I mean, actually, one situation that we did last summer was we had a mammy contact us to help her with her son. And I'm seeing no, I won't say anyone's names or anything, but anyway, she contacted us. And we went, myself and Susan, and we met her. She got very upset. Yeah. Because she said to me, my son only has level 1 autism. And I really feel like I should be talking to you. And I said, well, I don't talk to you about what my feeling on autism is.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because in this day now, and like as Antoinette said, we are learning a lot. So if we're going to speak to somebody, I might say to them, look, if I use language that offends you, please just tell me.
Yeah.
Because I am in a system 20 years. There's lots of different things. There's lots of different phrases and sayings. Neurodivergent, neuroaffirmative language, all this.
Yeah.
This is all new to me.
So they're terrified of people.
And I'm learning. So I'm saying, please, if I offend you, just say to me, I don't like that word. Can you use this word instead? I'll be no problem.
Yeah.
So we went to this, we met this lady and we had a chat with her. We then went and we met her son, who really wasn't very happy with us at the house. He was very anxious and he hid behind the chair. And eventually I said to him, would you like us to leave? And he said, yes. And I said, that's no problem. And his mouth was like, I said, no, that's okay. He needs to understand. I want to find him that I am in his home. Like, this is his safe space.
Yeah.
He has to be in control of that.
Yeah.
And if he does not want me here, then I will not be here. That's not saying I'm not coming back.
He probably was feeling like it was his only control.
Yeah. So, I gave that to him.
Trust us. Yeah. So when he said, Sinead had said to him, if you want us to go, we'll go. So when he said, I want us to go, no problem.
Yeah.
So we then did the social stories and we sent our photographs and we gave a bit of information. And his mommy read the social story and he was very happy to have us there.
That's brilliant.
So we had the chat and we made the plan and we made the system. And subsequently she said, I'd like this and a morning routine and simple things like his schedule. They had a schedule at home and they felt the schedule was working very well. But the schedule, I said, so is it your schedule or his schedule? And she said, no, it's his schedule. I said, well, why is it on the top of your fridge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's no, but there you go. Think about it. No.
And mostly what I would say in regards to school and home. So all children require to feel safe. In order for your central nervous system to stay balanced and in control, you need to feel safe.
Yeah.
So before any learning happens, they need to feel safe.
Yeah.
A relationship needs to be built. So if it takes 4 weeks at the start of the year when you're doing sensory or you're doing art and you're doing whatever it is or whatever their interest is, and you're slowly slipping in and out of maybe sitting at a desk and doing whatever, they need to feel safe. And that is the only thing I could say to you is that is without a doubt the most important part.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever going to do anything if they don't feel safe. And unfortunately, what happens for these little people is when they don't feel safe, their body reacts to their unsafeness.
Yeah.
And then people start to talk about behaviour, which has very negative connotation towards it. And then they become that child.
Yeah.
And then they
And then there's the chat and whatever. And they're like, oh no, I couldn't work with them or I couldn't do or you know what I mean? And oh, did you not hear? And I suppose for us, that is something that we would like to break.
Yeah. I find it very hard because like that I was explaining about Jamie. Now Jamie is autistic, but he hasn't actually got a diagnosis, right? And the reason being is Jamie is super intelligent and he's a petrol head, right? But he is hyper focused on airplanes. Okay. His granddad is an aircraft engineer, right? And Jamie has, since he was that size, been able to hang out and be sitting the lines and the big helicopters and everything. He loves it. Very good. He eats, breathes, and sleeps airplanes and cars, right? It's what he loves. That's the thing, right? So Jamie was never a child who'd sit and play with cars or anything like that, you know. But he will watch a documentary on how the Titanic was built or how a plane flies, or he watched like aircraft investigations. Yeah, it's uninteresting. Yeah, and he's always been that way. But I've had people come to me and tell me, you get him diagnosed, he might not get a job in the airport. You know, because with a diagnosis hanging over his head, if he wanted to be, say, an aircraft engineer, that might go against him in his life.
Be the best aircraft ever.
I know, right? Like,
And this is where we go back to where
yeah,
where you
That's through history.
yeah.
And you looked at the very, what's your man?
Yeah, signing
Jobs,
Get on body.
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Van Gogh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be believing that anyway. And nothing should ever, I mean, it should never inhibit anything. That should never inhibit anything. And even people saying, oh, they line things up, they don't know how to play, but that's their play.
That's their play. Yeah, like things.
Why are we focused on the fact that, you know, he's not driving them or he's not doing?
Yeah.
He's playing. He's
I
trying
don't
to
tell him so many times. He's autistic. He's very lines all them. I know, come on, he's there or something. Like, how much you know?
It's been very organised.
They have their shows together, so they're autistic.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they're not shows up.
yeah,
That's how they put their shows back.
yeah.
It's not
or it's how they learn. It's how they learn.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? It's not. And that's why I'd say to you, we would really talk about autism. And I know that sounds very strange.
Yeah,
because it's very individual.
it is. It is individual.
It's very individual.
Absolutely.
I would be guilty of saying over the years, oh, typically they're very typically autistic. That's not something. That's not a phrase I use anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, really, because there is no typical. It's
No,
just
no.
every child is
No.
different. Individual. Literally everything.
And there hasn't been a system, or the teach system, the ABA. There hasn't been anything across the board that myself and Antonella haven't experienced.
Yeah, yeah.
And while we don't gravitate towards any one system, I could tell you that I learned something from all of them.
Absolutely.
And we are who we are from all of our years of experience.
What have you learned from the children? Have the children taught you anything?
I have learned
Oh my God.
Yes.
So much, because they're quite wonderful people to work with.
Yeah.
Patience.
Patience would be definitely one, and it's getting to know them, getting to really getting to know them, getting to know the personality.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're non-verbal. Your eyes will talk to them.
Absolutely.
Expressions talk to them. And then when you give the whole banter with that individual or small person, there's no barrier.
Yeah.
And like you
And you know that they're comfortable with you and they usually say 100%.
Yeah, we wrote up a thing today just to work for just, at the end of the year, what we love about each student, because we're going to pass it on to the parents.
Yeah.
I did school kind of report for these guys. And one thing is what you love about them, and the boy that is non-verbal, I was like his sense of humour.
Yeah.
And that is what gets me. But he has the best sense of humour.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I'm just sitting chat to him all day.
No.
Do you know? So it needs to be passed.
Yeah.
These kids, I would get off in the home and I would say to my kids, you ought to be shagged.
Yeah.
They're a disgrace.
Yeah.
These kids are really nice.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I would say that I have become the biggest advocate of learning to think outside the box.
Really?
I mean, the young man we were talking about earlier on that three of us have in common, that we worked with his family. The first day I ever took him out, I went to Jump Zone, and it was great, and we had great time in Jump Zone, and he had great time, and we bounced for an hour and a half, and then we had to leave Jump Zone, and that didn't go so well. So anyway, this lady just stood in front of me. She was like a vision. I'm a special needs teacher. I said, an ice pop. She came back to pay her for the ice pop. Couldn't even tell you the woman's name. I was saying with an ice pop. I went out with these socks. Anyway, and the part of that's where I learned that I had something different to other people.
Yeah.
Because when I went home and I told his mum, and she said, "Oh, you can't go back there." I said, "No, I just need to find a different way to get in." She was very taken back by that.
Yeah.
So, we went to the cinema for years through the emergency exit.
Yeah.
At the side of Coolmore. Really up to the emergency. We went to the arcade and got the ticket, the popcorn, and they brought the popcorn in. And the first day he went to the counter, the guy got so flustered. He went, "It's the emergency exit, and he never charged the popcorn because he wanted to the door." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And understanding that it obviously doesn't always happen overnight.
Yes, no.
Right? But it's the build. But even for that, and for us to build the system. So I stepped away from that.
Yeah.
and I had injured myself, and I had a fall, and I hurt my knee, and there was a few concerns about me stepping away from that after 8 years. Oh, is he going to have? And I said, no. He may miss me as a person, but he certainly will not fall off the edge of the cliff because I'm not there. He didn't.
Of course.
Right. And he still has because we built the system.
And they're so resilient. The beautiful thing about autistic people, they are so resilient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they go along at a pace that suits them.
Yeah.
And we have to learn to go at their pace as well. And as we said, our business is called In Their World.
Yeah.
We work in their world. You know what I mean? Don't be thinking that their world is a neurotypical world. It's not. It's a different world.
Yeah.
It's an amazing world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is what we love about
People, like, you're teaching these small people or individuals to live in their world.
Yeah.
But what's the outside world doing to learn to live in their world?
Yeah.
It's not fair.
No, it's not. It's like the outside world is constantly trying to fix these children. Where it's funny.
We're making about
the outside world that we space with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. We just need a bit of balance.
Yeah.
What would you love to see different in schools right now? In mainstream schools.
I think definitely staff need the kind.
Yeah.
I think if the staff have a skill set and can be upskilled, I really believe that you can facilitate, you can create an environment that would suit the children's needs.
I don't think a teacher should be qualified to walk into a classroom until they have that training.
I would absolutely agree with that.
No,
That's true. Plenty, and we've seen them. They don't suit it, or they don't want to be there.
You wouldn't have a doctor that can't take bloods. You know what I mean? It's exactly that.
That's so true.
Well, true. Yeah.
Our system is just, or because our system is archaic at that stage. You know what I mean? Our educational system, and we have like mainstream schools in primary and post primary that are open up ASD classes. Now they're open up to tick a box.
Yeah.
And we don't have I know we have spaces that have to be filled. But they're open up these classrooms, and I'd say there is great schools out there as well. I'm not putting down all schools, but a lot of schools are open up ASD classes without the training, without the a purpose-built rule for them. You know, the environment being correct for them. How do they learn? You know what I mean? And a lot of them are going in with the assumption that these children have an intellectual disability as well.
Yeah.
You know, and keeping them at a minimum age for learning. You know. So, in an ideal world, I would have purposeful schools that are very, very small as well. The small
Centres of excellence.
Yeah.
Totally. Like in the US, I would love to have trained staff. I would love to have in their world training in schools. That's what we want. We want to be going into schools. SNAs will relate to us. Teachers will relate to us. The students will relate to us.
But currently, our teachers think we're an enigma.
Yeah.
And we're not.
Is there something that a teacher can do? So I know yous are going out to help speak to families, parents, teachers, and all the rest.
We've trained teachers.
Right. So here's the training they can do. Can a teacher say, I want that training?
Well, absolutely. And we can give that training. Brilliant. We offer that training.
Yeah.
Trained teachers, and we got amazing feedback.
How do people contact us then too?
So we have our website, intheirworld.com.
In their website, SAS.com.
We have all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Our website is very interactive. You know what I mean? You can schedule an appointment and have a chat with us as well. When our website as well, it's in many different languages as well. You know, and if needed to understand our website as well,
we'll be able to link that
definitely.
Currently, we have locked in a date for the 11th of June in Meadstown Community Centre, where we're going to run an information session on who we are and what we do.
So more information sessions. Yeah, just want to, what community centres, skill halls, whatever we get in, we offer the.
And there is a fear, though. So I find for schools as well that it's such a hard, like Antoinette says, they're being put out to open these autism classes, right?
Yeah,
and they open one, they open two. The Department of Education, I just said, you need to open another one. We have all these children that need places, right? Which is right. Okay, yeah, they do require places. There was talk of centralising this, as in, I think the system itself, as parents having to apply to 20 schools places. It's horrendous. Every time they speak to somebody new, they have to get their whole life story again. That's very traumatizing. And regurgitating their trauma all the time.
Some of them are 6 now starting because they're it's shocking.
So early intervention isn't happening.
It's not. It is coming from the top. So, and lots of things schools don't, principals don't have control over. This is what you need to do. This is what we have to do. But if they were looking at this as in, oh my God, okay, here's these 3 girls. They're sitting in front of me now telling me they could train my stuff.
Yeah.
They could come in and show, we could set your classroom up.
Yeah.
We could show you how to set your classroom up. Show you all about visuals, everything else, regardless of whether someone speaks or doesn't speak. It doesn't mean that they don't have to use visuals or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I need visuals.
Yeah.
For every,
Well,
yes, I have to.
it's right. I need to run And as you said, as humans, we are visual people.
Yeah.
We need visuals to get through our day. Sure. I mean, how do we know we're going to the ladies or the men's? There's a visual on the door. There you go. So it's not like Alien.
Yeah.
That, the lights go down and you follow the light that says fire. It's not. Like coming up the stairs here, isn't it gas out how they put the hood pipes on the stairs?
Yeah.
They know where you go so you don't fall over. You know what I mean? So it is building already.
Yeah.
We just need, and I suppose because we're new, and people are always afraid of everyone that's new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're, but just to know that they did allow us to help them.
Yeah, we could make a difference. I think you are going to really help parents think about it. Terrified principals.
And that's not our goal,
No, it's not their goal. But
we want them like that with principals. We want them to maybe think outside boxes.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like they probably spent their whole professional career working within a mainstream setting.
exactly, and they're not stuck in the one.
They don't know. Well, and this is the hard part. This is what I'm saying. They're asked to set up these classrooms, and anyone I'm talking to is like, "Oh gosh, and we have to set this classroom up." I'm sure we don't even know what we're doing. Like, like that is very unfair of the Department of Education to have that expectation of a mainstream school.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to the school that the special school that we worked in. Like, I mean, I was completely crazy for the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they just said, here you go. Even within the patron body of that school, should have had more sense than to say to the Department of Education, we want a brand new school.
Yeah.
They took a Greendale school, it's half of that.
Yeah.
Like,
that's right.
but they didn't have the gumption at the top to say, yeah, that's no problem. We'll do that for you. But you need to build a state-of-the-art building that doesn't have 4 to 18-year-olds all on one corridor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even still, like, what 22, 17 years later, that school is still not built.
Are you serious?
Like, they're in modular. They're in modular.
Like
yeah.
Awaiting their new school.
But still,
that's crazy.
That we were part of a whole school evaluation 15 or 16 years ago, and that was what the inspector said. This is a great school, and the staff are great, the kids are doing well, but just need to stay at the arts. You're going to need to push.
Like, I don't say there's a school in the country that couldn't do it. Like,
well, as you said, like,
definitely not.
Look on our website, have a look at our website, have a look at our testimonials. We have so many families we have, and training in schools as well. And I suppose now we're coming up to the end of the school year, now we are. And we know when that comes, say, the end of August, an awful lot of schools would have their training then. They would have 2 to 3 days training before the start back in September. So, like, we put it out there, like, we would be available, you know what I mean, to work within schools, whether it's a primary setting, secondary school setting, or special ed setting, like, take us in for 2 hours. We can give you so much within those 2 hours. And then we will do a follow-up mid-year as well. How do you know that once you're working in special ed, it is a tough job.
Yeah.
It is a hard job. There's amazing people out there doing this job day in, day out. It is exhausting, Yeah. And you can also at times become complacent as well. So this is one of the things we would always encourage with the schools that we all come back in 4 months' time, you know what I mean, to see how you are getting on. What's the feedback with the strategies that you're using that we've implemented? How are they working? You know, so we're not just turning up for a one-time training. We want to be involved with that school and ongoing. We follow the NCSE's guidelines as well, you know, within our training as well. You know, and we're using the language as well that we know that we're familiar with. The strategies that we know they've tried and tested. You know, we've been doing it as SNA for 20 years. And we have never come across a family of such and a woman.
Do you feel, just the way you said to August there, do you feel like parents struggle, you know, because they've had 2-month break, 20%? And I just presume routine goes out the window, and it must be really hard time for get back into the swing of skill.
Now, like, you know, kids we work with now, they know there's summer holidays. So now they're all on edge. Because they know this the routine change and it's unpredictable. Summer is unpredictable. You know,
in a lot of cases, well, you have maybe parents are going out to work, so the child they're not getting the routine in their home because they might gone to a nana or a minder or whatever.
And they're all new transitions, you know. So in their world SAS, their support, you know, we can do social stories to help. You know what I mean? And social stories and an amazing tool to have, you know what I mean? And this is what we're implementing. We have a huge toolbox of skills and strategies. You know what I mean? And we want to pass them on to the parents. We want to empower the parents. We want the parents to not have the kids that are constantly waking up in the morning with going to bed with as well, you know. And one of our goals, we've always said from doctor, the three of us are very, very like-minded people. Our goal is to make that young person's world bigger. Not small number. We want to make it bigger. They should be entitled to experience everything that's going on in the world. You know what I mean? Just like their peers. You know what I mean? Having relationships, going on dates, you know, going to social outings, you know, being able to dress themselves, picking out their own clothes, having one key to the door. You know what I mean? This is what we want. We want to make the world bigger. You know, so that would be one of our biggest goals going forward.
I love that. I've never heard of this before. I don't think anybody dealt with it down this, really.
Well, you know, we're probably
we're new, so
like we're not a year old. We have done a lot of foundational work.
There are other trainings out there, but from my experience of conversations that I have had and the interactions that I have had with people would say to me, I have done training with such and it's nothing like what you're. They're not giving me what you're.
They're doing the training through the books. You're doing it through like experience.
So people are afraid to talk about their real life experience of difficult scenarios. We did a training once where the chap couldn't wait till we got to the end and he wanted to talk all about behaviour. And I said to him, you know, I'm probably going to deflate you because, like, that's not going to be a big part of this. And it's like, no, but we need to. I said, well, if you're doing
fix all these things,
if you're doing if you've done the 3 things we talked about previous to that, then we wouldn't really need to be having that conversation. And so anyway, we talked about it, but I'm not really sure his expectation of what I did was that, you know, I asked him, he wants to talk about a scenario. And we broke it down. He stopped talking fairly quickly because I think he felt a bit like, oh God, she's putting this on me. And I wasn't putting it on him. But I said to him, okay, well, you are the adult in that situation. So what happened? What happened before? What happened before? What happened before? Start in the morning. What happened in the morning? And I don't think he thought I was going to go back to that. Given that understanding, that, like, just because something happens at 3 o'clock doesn't mean it didn't start at 9 o'clock in the morning. Or 9 o'clock the night before, or the week before, or you know what I mean?
It's like ourselves or something. If you wake up and something goes wrong for us, after the early morning, sleeping around, it's like your whole day. It's like, oh, it makes you tell. Exactly. And so, you know, would be like Amy and Christopher, both of them, their worst nightmare would be waking up maybe 10 minutes before they go get the bus because it's a panic and thinking, oh no, I can't, you know, just give me time.
And we all need time.
Absolutely. I think it's absolutely incredible what you're doing. What would you love parents to know? Is there anything that stands out right now that you could say parents from today could start?
If I would say anything to a parent, I would say to them, listen to us, look at our website.
Yeah.
We are here to help. We are not here to judge.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And we are mommies. We get it. Do you know what I mean? We really, really do. We want to empower you. We want to let you have the experience with your child. We want that to be a fulfilling experience. You know what I mean? We want to experience life with that child going up into an adult, going through your teenage years, going into adulthood. We will hold your hand going through that while we're empowering you as well.
Yeah.
You know, so don't be riddled with guilt that you won't call us or put a message on our website.
Yeah.
You know, we will take calls. Our service is 24/7 service.
Yes.
So once you put a message on our website, you know what I mean, to get in touch, we will get in touch with you straight away. You will have an empathetic, understanding, non-judgmental voice listening to you at the end of that line.
Wow.
And we can
never
you know what I mean? And it's not,
no.
You're dealing with psychology, and I'm not putting down anybody here within that profession. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We're not, you know what I mean? But you will be waiting for 6 weeks, 6 months, a year and a half for a profession to come to you as well, you know?
Longer and
Even longer.
yeah.
I don't know.
And even for us, nobody requires a diagnosis for us to help.
Exactly.
Diagnosed. Yeah, no diagnosed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I said to you, autism, no autism, it doesn't matter.
And that's very important as well.
Yeah.
That's very,
It's not something that it's required for
yes.
us. You know, we are like just here and to understand that you're not on your own.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it must be very isolating for some people.
Makes sense.
You know, how much like parents that, especially if you take on maybe a parent who's living down the country. I mean, we're all on top of each other. Right? You've only to walk around the corner before you meet another mammy. But if you're in a house down the country and you'd be so isolated, single parents,
It's not like it can be tough, and then there's autism burnout that goes with it.
Yeah.
So for us, we want to empower these parents.
Yeah.
We want them to feel that they're doing everything they possibly can. Give them the tools.
That's pretty
And to help them advocate, and to help them advocate for their children.
Because so many mummies that I've spoken to with autistic children were there, like feel like they're banging their head off a wall, waiting for an appointment, and then they get to the appointment and the next one's in 3 months, and it's just no good.
Or they get there and the person in front of them says, "So can we start from the beginning?"
Yeah.
You know, and they have to regurgitate the whole thing. I have had many parents say to me, "Oh God, here's new psychiatrist, new psychologist. They want to know he's 24, but they want to know what happened when he was 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That isn't, we are in the moment service. So whatever going on for you at the moment is what we will assist you with. In 6 months' time, that changes and you need to come back and something needs a tweak. We'll do that. Yeah. It's not like, it's not linear.
Yeah.
It's definitely not linear. Our service is not linear. It's tailored.
Yeah. If there was anything like tell parents, well, you know, for at home kind of through the summer for emotional regulation, like is there any points like?
Yeah, very much so. And it is at all the time. Like, and we keep on talking about social stories. They're amazing tools to your, you know what I mean? So maybe in the schools, maybe let them know at the school if they could do a social story in the school calendar or a calendar, you know what I mean? To let them know so they have the foresight to see how many more days there's going on. They're in control of the fact they're ticking off each day. The social story will also support that school isn't happening now. And you're going to be in Nana's, you're going to be in your aunts, you're going to be in your cousin's house. Well, mom is some work. These are so important. You have to inform your children of what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't treat them like they're not there. And if they don't have
like you say, with the piece of paper that's at the top of the fridge and it's
and also that no point should we not assume competencies.
Yeah.
Or that, you know, that nobody is understanding what we're saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I have never had the experience of thinking that the person I was working with didn't understand me.
No.
I've worked with loads of disability.
Yeah. Of course, it's so many non-verbal kids over the years. Well, I know what they're mean. You know, but they do communicate.
You got to know and you can make it your business.
Yeah.
But that's a big thing.
Yes,
so the competency or capacity, whatever way you want to speak.
I think people think that because a child isn't talking, that they are incompetent in some way. Yeah. Not the case.
No,
it has to be that case.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It's brilliant. When parents feel like they're doing it wrong, what would you say?
You're amazing.
You're right. Good. God,
amazing.
I love going.
You are amazing. I heard you. This is tough,
Yeah,
but it is amazing. You are amazing. You know, parents are amazing.
I love that.
Struggling out there, you know.
They are struggling, and I feel like I've had a lot of mommies say as well, like that they feel like they're letting the kids down because they're not getting, if they need appointments. But and people just not it. And it's not mommy's fault. They're not get their appointment. And like that, it's not something you can learn from a textbook. That's really like them and really not child.
And they know their child best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had a conversation with someone recently, and they were explaining their scenario to me, and they were saying, "What do you think?" And I need you to tell me. And I said, "Well, like you're his man, so what's your gut telling you?"
Yeah.
Well, my gut's telling me to do this, and I said, "Well, that's all the information I need to know because your gut has told you, and that is your child.
Yeah.
So if your gut is telling you that you need to go in that direction, then that's the direction you need to go in.
Absolutely.
Follow your instinct,
and
don't ever let anybody tell you that your instinct is wrong.
100%.
Any professional or any, in that sense, that ultimately they are your child.
Yeah.
And you know that.
Very all about it. So we're all about it. We're not.
Well, we can create a whole community, we just need collaboration, we need parents support parents, parents need a break, but there's very few respite services now for parents as well, to have their break. They're impossible almost. But like what we would say is we want to help parents, meet parents, and the whole idea of us having these information meetings with parents as well. And that's one of the goals that we're starting up at the moment. In each community, we're going to try and have these evenings where we can have an information evening where parents come together. And maybe in time these parents get to recognise parents. Hi, how's your son?
Yeah.
Hi, how's your director? We want them to talk.
I love that. Build safe space and a community. Absolutely. And then at the same time, we're helping them get it build their own too. Yeah. Because it is it's isolating, and
especially when children are on transport.
Yes.
So we would have found that in the school we worked in. I remember very vividly having the first Christmas day that we had, and two mammies talking. Right, so now we're talking 20 years ago, so maybe barbers weren't as open to situations. And I remember that, where do you get his haircut? Oh, will I go to such a place?
Yeah.
And they had a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, I might give that a go then, if you find that good, because I find it very hard to get his hair cut. And like that, because their children go to school, and they don't have that interaction in the yard where you meet all the nannies and the daddies or the nannies or whoever's collecting and dropping. And so it's a disconnect from the school.
So the kids on that playground is intimidating as it is. I just hate it. Yeah.
But it's a disconnect.
Yeah.
You could go if you wanted to. You could have a conversation if you wanted to. These mummies and daddies can't.
Yeah, their kids.
And they communicate through a book with their teacher or Aladdin or whatever, Seesaw or whatever it is that the school is using. And that's the interaction. Or they get the phone call and they see the phone ringing and they go, oh my God, the phone is ringing. What's happening?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The school is ringing me. And, like that's so unfair.
Yeah.
That's so unfair that they have to have that. But then in order to do that, in order to have this place, you have to go on the transport and you have to do. So that to build the community for mammies.
It's
and daddies. And brothers and sisters and whoever needs to be able to have a chat or to want to understand what it is that we could do to help.
Absolutely. And for parents as well, where you could have a situation, I've seen a few times where one parent might not necessarily want to believe that there's the autism there of any kind. Yeah. And they said, no, we're not going to this, we're not doing that, And what would you say in that thing?
And unfortunately, we come across it so much as such an island. And nobody wants to accept that the child is anyway different.
Like they're not stable.
No.
They're living to be that.
And I think it is. It's just ultra being vulnerable within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
To be vulnerable within yourself and accept help. I mean, every child, I'm not about your child has autism, which is a mainstream stat. Every child needs that. We're not just talking about autistic children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're talking about children in general as well.
Yeah.
But our profession, our skill set, and maybe with children with autism. But like for parents, denial. It's, and they can carry that for years.
Yeah.
And that can impact on their child as well. Then,
Yeah.
have that preparation with their child as well. So for parents who are feeling, I don't think there's anything wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe as we're talking about your gut.
Yeah.
Will always tell you.
Yeah.
Reach out for help. It's sometimes the most toughest thing to do, to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yet we know you ask for help, you will get it back tenfold.
Exactly.
It could be life-changing.
Yeah.
No, it can be like,
Yeah.
But I'm sure like up until now, there hasn't been any help for sports for
We haven't seen it.
guys.
You know, and that's why we wanted it
Yeah.
to be more.
I love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
To offer that out. And as Jeanette said, like, we stage at the moment.
Yeah.
And that also keeps us close
Because
on the ground with the kid. We know what's going on. We see what's going on.
yeah, you know what you do.
Oh,
No, it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love me.
I couldn't say after 20 years that I want to do that different, you know. It's still,
you've never
And you know, 20 years ago, it's not something I'd have said you were going to do.
know, because you'd have known me 20 years
Yeah.
ago.
I also remember when we lived in Coolin, I can't remember which child, but one of them fell and split themselves. And the only person on the road, and that child was handed to you. I remember who it was.
Lee was playing with a little boy, and Sadie was saying to the little boy, sport, the little boy, I remember fast. So
Yeah.
the dash ran out the sport, and she leaved him a swipe, and he caught side of the face. It was his lip,
Yes.
and it ripped, leave white adults, and the camera, poor mammy was done. Everyone tired. Well, the mammy was, she just handed me to charge. Because she's like, I'm just like, okay. And he was high scared of many covered the blood, like covered the blood.
Yeah.
But
And
after
you're so calm. And I'm pretty sure you got the kids had out with cake as well.
I did, the kid never had stuff in the fire. She was high scared.
still.
And occasionally that child head was coming off. I was like, get the quick the cake. Yeah.
I got this
What's wrong with
strand.
I use them.
Get the butter. She's like, well, get the butter. She's got her head.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So now
So I would have, and now, I wasn't always going to make up straight, staying calm. But I think my job, my life experience,
Yeah.
my own too,
Yeah.
has taught me that. And it's actually something I do like about myself now.
Yeah.
And I know I can transfer it
Yeah.
to somebody else.
Yeah, me too.
So that's a huge part of our job.
It
It's co-regulation.
Yeah.
So you could come in, Laura, and you could have the shittiest night in the world, and you still to come into that job, take the coat off, smile, back to your co-regulation,
Yeah.
and whatever, pick your crap up on the way, and then don't bring it to work.
Yeah.
Because those kids, they vibe off it, they feed off it, they feel it.
Wasn't on my list, but it was very hard when one of the kids finished school because they obviously got very close to them.
I haven't experienced that yet because I'm on
Islands on now. I'm going to tell you.
No. No.
you're proud of them.
No,
proud.
not that I'm proud of them. No, because I do not emotionally attach myself to, if I emotionally attach to myself to every child I've worked with over the last 20 years, or I'd probably be a Connolly hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or adopted and all. One of the other.
So here.
Yeah.
Whereas I could tell you, especially for myself and Antoinette, so what you get from me in the moment is you get 150% of me.
Yeah.
Until my job is done, and then I
Take yourself on.
move on to the next phase.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
Oh no, I still need to, please.
I don't, and I have had many people ask me that question over the years. How do you not get how I have experienced children go from respite to residential. I have transitioned them from home to residential from all different places. And my manager once said to me, "Oh my God," like she was raw and quiet. "How did you know?" "Oh, I can't." I said, "Because I did what I could for that person, and now it's the next person's turn to do what they can."
Yeah.
You have to be like that. You wouldn't be able to do this job if you weren't. Personally, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know, would you?
No, we've used attachment skills.
Yeah.
But and it's a skill I had to learn, you know what I mean, how to detach myself.
Yeah.
Because it can be emotionally upset and emotionally exhausting. You can carry it with you, but you have that skill of detachment. And that's probably where our business really thrives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have that emotional detachment. We don't come away from saying, "Oh my God, that family," whatever. we come in here with a positive look, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what can we do here? We're not being picky, we're not being sad for this family.
Yeah.
We're going to
You've given us a few answers.
Yeah.
For example,
So we're attachment to get skill that
Yeah.
involved.
I did have an emotional attachment to the first boy I ever did a one-to-one with,
Yeah.
and I learned very quickly from that on there that wasn't something that I was going to be able to do going forward. But like I said, I would give 150% of myself to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just have to hold that little bit of that back because, as I said to you, you can that to everybody you meet.
You feel to yourself next individual or the next young person that needs you.
Yeah.
So you focus on that. Yeah. That's how you keep moving forward.
Jeremy goes.
It's not to say you couldn't be sad in the moment.
Yeah.
Because I could be sad in the moment.
Yeah.
I could be saying, no, that's finished now. But it's not something that would live in my head.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I suppose you get excited to be able to help the next time.
Yeah. And excited that we've done great work with the one that we've just been with.
Yeah.
And isn't that great? And look at them and they're flying and now we're moving on to the next person.
Like mummies would give you updates. You'd get updates on how the little people are doing.
God.
Yeah. You'd always have it.
Yeah, I still have connections with many people I've worked with over the years. Yeah. Seeing how people are getting on.
So have you gone out to schools then and teachers?
Yeah, we've had a couple of skills covered.
Yeah. We've done a few information sessions and
we're all working full time.
Yeah.
So we all work full time as SNAs in schools.
And Antoinette's doing an interesting piece of training at the minute also.
Yeah, and I've gone back studying as well. So and we're very between the three of us, one of the answers we put on ourselves as well is continual training within ourselves as well.
All the time.
So at the moment I'm just training as a practitioner in spelling to communicate.
Wow.
So spelling to communicate is a program that's come from the States. As we know, the States are way ahead of everything. And especially in the field of autism. So, and it's crazy because working in autism as we have for the last 20 years, coming across this course has actually changed my mindset and some of the things I would have worked with in autism. So I mainly work with people who are I would have actually called them non-verbal at the very beginning. So the word verbal means words. And young people who are non-verbal, they do have words because they have them all in them.
Yeah.
So it's a cognitive thing. They have it all there. Mm-hmm. They just can't get the words out of their mouth. Yeah. Okay. So I'm working with young people who are non-speakers and probably unreliable speakers as well. So young people who would have language and have a lot of words, but it probably wouldn't make sense or you couldn't have a two-way conversation with them. Yeah. Communication is exchange between two people. So at the moment I'm training now to communicate with young people through spelling, where we would use a spelling board, and we realised that apraxia is a breakdown between the brain and the body. Yeah. So these young people who are presumed to have an intellectual disability, there is nothing wrong with them cognitively. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a breakdown in the brain to bring those signals to the body. Yeah. And this is where we would have actions of concerns, where you would have impulsive actions, injurious actions, injurious towards other actions as well. And none of these actions are intentional. No. They are the body just very, very overwhelmed. And I almost put it into like you are trapped. It's like a lockdown syndrome. Yeah. That you are so confident in your brain, you know everything that's going on. You understand everything that's going on. But yet, because your body isn't working with you, you cannot show that through your body. And because the motor of your speech is not working either, you can't say this either. So this is an addition that we've added on to our service now. So I'll be training until the end of October. Brilliant. And this will be an addition that we will have on our service as well, that we will be working with young people who are non-speakers and unreliable speakers to give them a voice as well, to let them know their thoughts, their feelings, their opinions. So we're very progressive within our service as well, you know.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's something like that now. I genuinely can't, because you always get from mummies, it's like, there's no support. It's so hard. And, you know, everybody's got to put ourselves out there. To be able to, even to be able to send an email to us. Like,
the other thing we do, we would meet your first consultation. Like, it's great. We just have conversation. Yeah. So people even won't come meet us, even just have conversation. Yeah. And see how you feel. Yeah. Do you know?
They don't have to, like, You didn't have to take us up on a service, but we would meet you.
We have a conversational service that's really needed. Maybe genuinely do. Like, yeah.
To get the word out there for us. Well,
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll put all the links that please get on the video anyway for this.
that'd be great.
It's going to go out on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And those full clips from it as well while we're
Oh, I know what you mean.
draw people to it. Yeah. No, so I can take, say, important things out of this conversation and make it a 1 minute clip.
Okay.
Or
People
Instagram,
want
Facebook.
the whole thing.
They understand the whole thing. You know, we want as many.
We do. You maybe just then.
I think this might be one of the most important podcasts I've ever done. Very good. Thank you. It's for me anyway. As a barber, I completely understand. I never got this. I've worked with these children. Yeah, I mean, I've children where I would have to put a cushion on the steering wheel of the car, and
You did
because it would be one or two that like that. They're non-verbal. They would love the. But it's so quick and a quick reaction. Like I got a bite on the arm the other day, and it's haircut like as well. But like that, it was it was just you understand the side of theirs or those something or you just quickly it's like that. But good as gold, like good as gold.
They're just struggling.
Yeah,
with that piece.
They really just want us to back off.
Yeah, I'm very tiny haircut today. Yeah, leaving someone touching you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the noise, sensory issue. Yeah, someone touching you. It can almost feel like with pins.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So like we need to listen to our young people, our autistic people.
Yeah,
we need to learn from them as well, and that's probably the beauty of us. We have learned from these beautiful people that we were. I understand the central nervous system, like understanding the requirements to regulate your central nervous system before you do something like that. Like before you go to do something big, have we, squeeze it? Like your central nervous system can be reset by that.
Really, your fingers, like squeeze, stop your fingers. Yeah.
That can reset. If a person will allow you, if you are feeling extremely overwhelmed, sure, well, the tip of your finger goes right through your body. Right. Your toes can reset your central nervous system.
Wow.
Deep pressure on joints resets your central nervous system. Pressure, any kind of pressure that are looking. So they're constantly trying to reset their own central nervous systems.
Well, do you know what? I've got the same thing.
Yeah. So it's pressure, like joint pressure, and the understanding when not to talk.
Yeah,
I would say the biggest thing of this, and what we're very, very hot kettle have you met each other because we've just been talking to you for that is the biggest thing, that is one of the biggest things that I notice.
Yeah,
that when we work together, and obviously we work very well as a trio together, and myself and Anthony have done a lot of work together over the years, so much so that we wouldn't have to speak to each other exactly to understand what was required or what we needed to do or how we needed to do it. But that's obviously a relationship we built. But yeah, I did notice that that was a big problem. That would have been a big part of the problem. That people with peace.
Yeah.
Mainstream school are talkers.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Why use 10 words when you will do?
Yeah.
And only use the words you require child.
Yeah.
Whatever is the word that they like. If you're needing them to sit down.
Yeah.
Come on, Laura, now come on over there now and sit down there, will you? It's not. It's just
Laura, fit.
Down.
Yeah,
yeah. So in that sense, things for parents to understand that the more language you use, the more overwhelmed your person is becoming.
Yeah.
If that's the scenario that you're in at the time.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, just what you
every time you start the conversation.
Yeah.
They have to start to reprocess.
Yeah.
Which is where the impulsion comes from that Antoinette is talking about. So if you say, stand up.
Yeah.
Come on now, stand up.
Yeah.
Are you right there? Stand up. Okay, now I really need you to stand up. So that's 4 different phrases.
Yeah.
I've asked you to do the same thing, but I've asked you to do it 4 different ways.
Yeah.
So every time I start,
still getting through the second.
They've already finished the first one. Oh no, she's saying something different, and she said a different word. And so the understanding of processing.
Yeah.
And this is where all of them actions come from. Because if you constantly did that to me, I'd probably go, you know what I mean? So that's what you talking at somebody is like, or saying it over and over and over again. So it's not controllable for somebody to be able to do that. You know,
Wow.
it's not within their control. But it is within your control.
Well, that is brilliant. Yeah. Well, I'm amazed. Absolutely delighted that there is something like that, because there are so many parents who just feel like it's just them, and you know, how do I navigate this? And I honestly think if it was me in the situation, I'd rather go to 3 and 12 months like you than I would to and not, you know, where I feel judged. And there's absolutely no judgment.
Now, like we will come into the home, say like if the parent is saying like they're really struggling, like say they get their child up in the morning, get to put their uniform on, or really struggling with going to bed at night, so they're not sleeping as well. You know, like there's not professionals out there that will come into the home and do the bedtime routine with the parent. That's what our service offers. We will walk every step of the way with you. You know what I mean? Then we will pull it back and we will empower you that you will do this with your child.
Yeah.
And we realise there's so many areas in anyone's day that can be very, very tough.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if a parent wants to get in touch and say, listen, I'm really struggling with my son. He's only eating white food. You know what I mean? I'm really struggling with my son for him to go to bed. I'm really struggling with him to brush his teeth.
Yeah.
Can't get him up in the morning to go to school. When I go into the shops, get into the car, I struggle.
Yeah.
All these little things that parents don't want to talk about. This is where we come in.
Yeah.
This is where In Their World SAS comes in.
Yeah.
You know, we will come into your home. We will watch these scenarios. We will take the lead from your child.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to take the lead. We will let the child take the lead. We are totally person-centered.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes from as well. So for parents, you know what I mean? If they're thinking, oh my God, yeah, remember I couldn't get out of the shopping centre. What was that all about? I could do it, you know.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. We
literally. Yes, I like that. We're on me, then. We like, no from. Yeah. Yeah, because that is it, like you do. I know that the parents, they can eventually access the thoughts for school and all that, but not for at home. And that's really important, like that. They're getting up, they're getting rest, they're going to bed. That's all really
impacts your day.
Exactly.
So it impacts their good day.
Don't go well with the child for school days. It's not a child to start well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited to see how this goes for you. I'm not share everything. And brilliant for definitely.
So how long do your reels usually be then that you put out them on YouTube? You're not
kind of brave out tomorrow week.
Oh, really? Do you?
That's definitely it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's like, oh God. Yeah. You know, it's really cool.
You see the came across okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. You've been. Yeah. Just been us. Yeah. That's the way it has to be. And I think that's what parents will love as well, because if you sat there with a notebook and the rest of it, we want to be. Yeah, there's people with notebooks.
And notebooks and a book. And I'll do this, A, B, tick the box.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah. Just like this.
That's what the chap, we went recently to the Swords Neurodiversity Summit. Well, I'm saying it wrong, but
Transitions in Life. Yeah.
The Transitions in Life Symposium. And the Sinn Féin fellow we were chatting to who set it up, he was chatting about business, and it's such a small world. Yeah. The girl, Claire, I have met from Snowflakes, she was like, no, I can't wait to do blah, blah, blah. When she introduced us to the other fellow to myself, it says, work. And we were like, oh, hell yeah. And she was like, oh God, I thought you were introduced. I was introducing you. I said, this is a very small world. You have been in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've said to the chap, John, like, John, we're just straight, man. It's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Ultimately,
that's what I want
to table.
Yeah, really
you know what I mean? Like, my children taught me as much as my work life did.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And from my work life, I experienced my children differently.
Yeah.
Because I had different insight into things.
Yeah.
You know,
They also teach you an awful lot about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's amazing.
Yes, it is. It's so
Love
great.
it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm right.
That's so great. Yeah.
Totally.
You know,
Good stuff. We'll let you get on
Yeah.
straight out of the to go. No, well, thank you.
Yeah, no.
To make us feel very comfortable.
Yeah, not so good.
Yeah.
but for you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to 6 months of that's not what only the little
yeah, and hopefully we'd moved up a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I know whatever once that thing in Meekstown.
yeah, we're going to do that on the 11th of June. We're going to have an information evening from 6 to have
I think my school for the camera if you want to. I guess it was great. It's not very next ones. So here's that fancy camera.
So that'd be amazing. Great. Thank you so
And
much.
it's just I'm happy to see our website then throughout together.
Thanks, you do.
not just
The angel heart the one he says. Oh, I don't know, but I thought about it.
I know, and I'm so happy the kids were both in
I know.
yeah. And it's
So we have things to come for.